One. Call the meeting to order. So we have Chuck and Nathan and Rod and Mel and Rob. Lo and behold, we have a quorum. There's four. And Theo is excused. Do we have anybody else that might be excused or no?
I don't believe there's anybody else. There's two open positions. I know Councilor Ray Betsy is not going to run again, so I think he's going to wait to have the next person fill his obligations to the commissions.
Well, I've been putting the word out to see if we can get anybody to become it.
I've seen an application, and I think that's part of the
okay. And which wards are open?
I am not sure. Honestly, who's
so Rod, what ward are you from? Or are you a mayor appointee?
it would be Ward 7 is open. Rodney is Ward 3. Chuck is 1. Gar would be 3. So 3 is open as well. There was 2, 3, actually 3 from 3. Oh, you're from 3.
Yeah.
And Theo,
Well, I was a mayor appointee.
yes, that's what it does say here, but it says you're Ward 3.
Yeah.
Because of that. So
that's where
it would be Gar in Ward 3 and Gary Barnes in Ward 1.
Okay.
So wait.
okay.
And Gar just timed out.
He moved.
Oh,
And I was looking for recommendations to possibly, have somebody from, looking to try to get somebody from outside the city limits to be able to be on the commission. And it's a little shady in that regard because you're a citizen of Albany, and that's kind of what I think they'd like for the commission. So
Yeah, and that's going to be brought up in the minutes too. So if we move on to the approval of the minutes, I will not ask for a motion just yet because I've found that there's a couple of corrections. And if you'll turn to page 2 of the previous month's meeting minutes, it says the next meeting date, that should be July 18th today, not July 23rd. And on adjournment, it was the chair Huffman adjourned the meeting, not co-chair Aarons. So with those changes, so with those changes, corrections, I think that makes the minutes correct. And now, do I hear a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
second.
make the motion.
You made the motion.
Oh, I made a motion.
Yeah.
Make the motion. Motion to approve.
To approve it.
Okay.
I'll try to forget it's corrected.
Okay, Rod seconds it.
Okay.
All those in favor, or actually any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries. Moments are approved as corrected. So now we move on to staff updates. Rob, I understand you got all kinds of exciting news for us.
I do.
Okay. Brand?
A lot of grants. Yeah, we have a grant approved, and we're moving forward with that for the taxiway lighting and happies. So now we're working on one more. We went out to bid on the second one for the FBO building and the historic hangar to be re-roofed, and we had 0 bids, but one minute after the fact. So we couldn't accept it. We're going to be redoing that, changing it a little bit to where we're going to have the re-roofing section and the attachment and redoing the heaters. So hopefully we get both of those bids to do both of those. We'll see. We're going to go back out to bid. I have a meeting Monday to discuss that.
And you're indicating that the happy and lighting could happen by the end of this year?
I hope so.
As a pilot, I hope so too.
Mhm. Yeah, the Massies are just outdated, and now, next on my agenda is the real lighting, just having a hard time with that. We've got one of the lights out on the south end. It's a DC power and nobody likes to work on it, so hoping we get those replaced with LED.
Were those 10% matches on the brands?
Yeah, so I think it was a $1.2 million project and we would pay, I think it's $10,000. So pretty good deal. So we did, I mean, then we looked at a bid, it's public record, it came in at 455,000, I think somewhere, it's just, I can't off the top of my head to re-roofing both buildings and upgrading the heating systems. So we'll see what happens. We'll regroup and put that one back out and see where we go with that. I've been busy mowing, trying to get out there mowing. We're down a guy and we've had a lot of grass complaints this year. The weather has just been horrible. Yeah, like it looks closer. To me, it's tall.
It's really tall.
It needs to be mowed and we're getting there. So
I mean, the spring's not bad where they score is, it's just.
We'll definitely-
Yeah.
we'll definitely have it mowed before the Arbor Festival.
Well, if it gets too, how dry does it need to be before you say we can't mow because of the possibility of sparking?
I think we're fine in that regard. It still looks pretty green in some spots, but I think if another month, the end of August, I don't think I want to be. Usually we do one more and we're done.
Okay.
So whatever we can do, we can mow in the morning. So try not to get the guys, if it's going to be over 100 degrees, we'll be out there mowing. 80s degrees, we'll be mowing, in the morning, slowing down. We have fire extinguishers on our mowers, so try to keep an eye on that real close. So
Anything else?
nothing I can think of. Had issues with the gate again, got that fixed, and we had an issue with the lighting. It's back on. We have the coaxial cable come out of the antenna. So we got that fixed and on it. And just the real light right now that's out at the south end.
Okay. Anything else?
No?
Tony? FBO update?
Well, I got really nothing much this month, but, so sometime in August, the Lions Club of Albany, they got a bunch of grants from the state of Oregon, and they're working with Home Depot as one of their sponsorship or volunteer, movement within Home Depot. So they're gonna create 300 go buckets, emergency go buckets at the airport. So 150 is gonna be in Albany, in one of our office, and then the other 150 is gonna be in Capitol. So in times of emergency, the agreement that we have with them is we're gonna distribute it to wherever airports or cities that use these buckets. I don't know exactly what they mean. But I mean, they're gonna make a big thing out of it. They're gonna, Home Depot people are gonna be here. And then the Lions Club is gonna be volunteers and they're just gonna, for the whole day, they're gonna be making these buckets.
How big are buckets?
Just a regular.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they might make it into a media event or something like that. So just give me the full date and then Rob knows. So I'll let you know, but yeah, that's what's happening. And ODOG is still waiting for the decision from Oregon Emergency Management for the big grant that we've submitted for the emergency, that shelter and all the communication and stuff like that. So hopefully they'll make a decision sometime this week or this month, and then we'll, if it goes through, then we'll have to think about put these things. But Well, we'll work with you, Rob, and it'll be good for the community, obviously, right? So, okay, that's about it.
On the ODART thing, right now, we ham operators have a UHF, VHF antenna on the tower that, and the cable's there just in case we need to connect up to it for an emergency. What if we could see what ODART is thinking about as far as shelter, maybe we could think about moving that UHF, VHF antenna down and co-locating it with the shelter.
Well, the shelter, they're thinking it'll be like a trailer, kind of like a horse trailer. And then inside, it'll kind of balloon up into like multiple sections where you can house a few people, like 10, 20 people in there. And they'll have the communication equipment and food and everything, kind of like self-contained, emergency shelter.
So, but if we can co-locate that antenna, then you've got operators that are in essence focused on the ODART airport operations and moving supplies and that. But we could also have the amateur radio emergency services co-located with them. So as and it's called ARES, Amateur Radio Emergency Services. As ARES gets information, we can relay that over to the ODART site and back and forth. And that way we work together to improve efficiencies of distribution, communications, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they will have any issues with that. But, we're gonna get the grant first, and then we're gonna figure out where we can put it. How tall the antenna,
What it's gonna look like.
We'll stay involved in the front, and what I'm wrong,
As long as it's professional and somebody goes, well, this person's camping up there. What do you think?
Something about you, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and also at the same time, the ODART systems, if they're communicating with aircraft, that's not a big deal. But if they're trying to communicate using amateur radio frequencies, now you have to have hands there.
Yeah.
So again, connecting all that together.
Yeah, I mean, it will be handy equipment there, yeah.
Okay.
And then, everything else is good. I mean, yeah.
Buell Island, for years now, you've been talking about upgrading the reader, the charge thing, anything new, anything happening?
So before COVID, I think there was a regulation that was being passed to enable for all transactions to be smart chip, card readers instead of the magnetic strip. But COVID happened, and so they delayed it, so it's not really a hard requirement. So we could still just keep using what we have.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up on part of this question, which was the reader. You get that big.
Oh, that board, that price, so I wanted to put it together, but we need some U-bolts. That's like 5 inches, wide and stuff like that, so I'm trying to post that. And or after I talked to Rob yesterday, we kind of came up with a plan. He said he can't find one that wide, so I'm waiting for Red to come back from his vacation. So he could make me a bracket, a back, and then it'll just be a straight bolt. So we're gonna do that next week, and then once that's installed on the pole, then I need to call Scott, who is one of the tanks, and talk to him briefly about it. He has an electrical company, Apex. So I kind of talked to him about it. I was like, hey, can you volunteer and put this together? And he said, yeah, you can do it. So I'm gonna make sure it's there. So whenever he's ready to do it, he could just plug it in. So hopefully, this month or early next month. Yeah.
What's your involvement, what's our involvement with the Art and Air for this August?
There really isn't much going on. I know Debbie, well, I reached out to the same EAA chapter from last year, which is the Malino chapter. They were pretty stressed out about it because, you know, the way they do things, the way they do the Young Eagles is completely different from how we do it, which is have kids in and they're off they go, right? But the way they do it is they, no matter how many kids they take one kid. And then they do a thorough pre-fly. I mean, they spend the time, which is the way it really should be done. But with 1 or 2 days time, I mean, you know, our goal is to just get it through, right? So I think they were pretty strict on it last year. So they said they will not be able to do it this year. So I think Debbie was going to reach out to some other EAA chapters to see if we can, you know, maybe sometime get it done. But it's not looking like it will happen this year.
So there's no more displays like the military, antique military stuff and the fire and the remote control tanks. None of that display stuff is coming back to us.
I mean, the problem becomes, yes, we might be able to get a few of those guys, but would it draw enough people for it to be worth it? You know? And that was a problem when we used to do the Young Eagles over here, and you know, we had the event every single year, where the Parks and Rec got involved, brought all these tents, and we had all these tables with food trucks and all that stuff, but it just didn't make enough money for the food truck for it to be worth it for them. You know, and then so every year it was getting very difficult to find vendors that will come. And then, so it just kind of started dwindling down. So we had to sell a display, and then, you know, after COVID, everything to print. So.
There was an ulterior motive in asking all of those questions is because it was recommended to me that to make it easier for people over at Timberland to get to the airport. I don't know if the shuttle still exists, but that was one way that used to be, and that was almost a hit and miss, I think. But their thought was, if you put a person down by the gate that the fire department comes in past what was the Chinese restaurant? I don't know if it's still Chinese, but anyway.
Just sold.
Oh, did it? So if people could drive through that parking lot and we had someone at that gate that could monitor and make sure that nobody went through or a shuttle could come from the FBO to that gate and pick people up. If that was a possibility.
For the Young Eagles?
For any purpose, if we had displays like the 1929 hangar, airplane displays, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, you know, I think we just have to get with Parks and Rec, and they have a trolley available.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the liability insurance, but I wouldn't want to have the trolley or anything. The best people, that bridge.
Oh, no, not over the bridge, but they used to go around the.
Yeah, that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
Go around at Knox Butte and they come in aviation way.
Yeah.
But if that weren't a possibility, then the suggestion was get some ingress from over there somehow.
But I don't know if, well, with the state of what's happening with the museum, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know whether anything is going to happen over there this year, eh?
Well, Debbie is working towards that.
Yeah.
She's reached out to me to get a hold of hams to set up a ham radio display over there. And I haven't had anybody say, yes, I'll do it, but the ham community expressed some interest.
Yeah.
It just,
But yeah, I talked to Debbie, I told her, hey, I mean, you know, they used to do the trolley, so, but get with them. I don't know what the answer is going to be, but As long as it's on, I asked them to reach out to them because they send out like a booklet every year before the ordinary people. And in the back, there's a map. And all where every park and where all things happen. So I asked her to kind of reach out to them and, put every part on the map if she's gonna do something, if there is something. So they know it's there. And even if the trolley does not run, at least they'll know, maybe to get some information on the ordinary website or what have you, and have them drive there, which is really not a big deal. Just across the street. So, and then there's parking by the historic hangar, so that really shouldn't be a big deal, but I don't know where everything is in terms of.
Okay, so let's move to business from the commissioners. We'll start with Rod.
I don't have, any business from the airport other than I will volunteer my time if you guys need help out there again, so. If you need help cutting grass or rainbow, we need our dogs and stuff. Ready. So for the art, just to kind of spruce it up. So.
David?
Yeah, I think you're probably gonna bring us up, but, we're probably ready to vote on that issue. We've got the information from you, Rob, about raising the rates, the hangars. So I think we're probably ready to vote on that.
Well, I just want to ask if people have studied the information and we're ready to talk about it.
To be honest with you, I have not even studied the information.
But you did receive it.
I did, yes.
Okay.
I've just been extremely busy with a bunch of other stuff, so.
Yeah, okay. So went through the whole thing and saw the rates and I'd be ready to vote on it.
Okay, so you're making a motion to bring it off the table?
Second.
He hasn't made it yet.
Yeah, I think we can down the road enough. Yeah, make a motion that we vote on it right now.
Okay, so bring it off the table. That's the motion from Nathan. Chuck has seconded it. Is there any discussion? Okay, go ahead, Chuck.
Just wondered, do you get an annual raise?
An annual raise?
Yeah,
I've had step increases,
yeah.
but this
I get
my
one,
last,
so
this is my last one,
Because you'll be gone.
topped out.
Oh,
Yeah. Keep counting.
my point being, it is my opinion that everybody in city government gets an annual increase of some sort. I sure don't know or care how much that is. But if we let hangar rents lag for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we fall behind. And I've got a Miata, and so I have to have a garage for that because I think a lot of it, I don't want anything to happen. If I had a plane, I'd want it covered. So we got nice hangars and we got T hangars. I think the T hangar rate should go up annually so that it keeps pace with the rest of the world. Everything's going up dramatically right now. Inflation. I don't want to pick on plane owners, but I want our airport to be as self-sustaining as it can possibly be. I'm afraid it'll never be totally self-sustaining. But if we let just that, let's say we went up 5%, just hypothetically. If we let that go and don't do it this year, then even if we raise it 5% next year, the city's behind, is my opinion. So I recommend voting for a increase. Did we establish, was there a motion that said
We have not.
3%, 5%? Because I read through all, kind enough to send that. I read through all of it. Well, it doesn't specifically address a T hangar, no electric and no doors and reeds around it or no lighting. It's just my opinion that if you don't raise the rate annually, you're doing a disservice to the, let's say, the taxpayers or the constituents of the city.
Okay, I want to come back to that after I hear from Ron.
I've been in the storage industry myself and my wife for the past 5 years, storage, plane, whatever. We offer a space, and that space on average goes up 5 to 8% every year, no matter where you are, the Bay Area, to Oregon, to Washington. And you offer a space, you offer a door, you offer a light. You don't offer anything else. So one thing that we've done is the price does go up every year, except for the people that are there, they're grandfathered in, so the price doesn't go up as much as if somebody moved out, then the price jumps an extra. But the folks that are already there are grandfathered in, so they don't go up as much as somebody that moved out and get somebody brand new. So just an idea.
We had that going on here with our hangars. There were old and new and middle, and everybody had a different rate. We froze it, so we got no increases for 5 years, and then we're increasing it on the lease rate.
Okay, now I'm coming back to what you just said, Chuck, in that your initial motion was to raise the rates on the hangars.
The hangars.
You just modified your motion.
No, it was always the hangars. Because the other hangar spaces are
Okay, I'm not
raised.
I'm not arguing. I don't recall that the T hangars were specified in your initial original motion. So I just want to make sure that if it were, we don't need a motion to modify the motion. But if it wasn't, we do need a motion to modify the motion to specify specifically those hangars and not all hangars.
I will guarantee you that my motion as presented is for T hangars only, because the other hangar rates are established by their lease agreements
Okay,
for an annual increase.
okay. Okay, like I said, I'm not arguing. I just want to make sure that we're very clear on what hangars get increased and what ones are protected or exempted. Okay. So now the question is, or the discussion will be, what's the rate?
Rob, did I specify? I believe I specified.
I thought you did. I thought you said a number. Can we play back the video? That's not recorded, right? I could have sworn you had threw it out.
I know. That's my record.
I thought it was like 10.
Anita, can you look into that?
It is recorded and we can listen to it back.
Here's
I don't know
what
exactly.
Here's what is written in the June or April notes, and it's minutes from a business from the commission. Moore asked the commissioners if they had thought about auto racing, blah, blah, blah. And then, let's see, where is it? Chuck Cratch's motion from last month to raise the hangar rate. See, it doesn't say which hangars. Just says raise the hangar rate an additional $20.
That was it. Yeah, that sounds right.
Thank you.
Okay, so you specified the amount, but what was written in the minutes just says hangar rate.
Good. What would you like?
I think we were talking specifically about, we had a finance presentation about, it was about hangars that Albany owns, not the hangars, so we can't do anything about that. So that's the way I understood it.
I think it was specifically the T
Yeah,
hangars.
the 10 years for $20.
Okay. So,
Because I remember asking Chuck about calling them and researching the prices at airports, and we're right in the ballpark. Okay, at that point in time.
all right, so is there any further discussion?
I'm just gonna,
Okay, hearing no, do you want, okay,
Sure.
discussion, go ahead.
I'm just gonna take the counter view. I think, I looked at the rates, went through all the different airports that are out there. It doesn't always specify whether it's built or not. I'm sorry, whether it has gas or not, whether it's just a T hanger, whether it's a, full-on box hanger, obviously those are more expensive, those are larger. I got the impression we're pretty competitive at the moment. And the bigger issue, I think, is that we're talking about 10 hangers times $20 a month, and we're in the hole for what, 90 grand a year? I think it is the deficit.
That's one thing I was gonna, how it's really,
Right.
but I don't, yeah.
Well, if I can say something, I mean, to me, our list when I first started here was huge. Now it's down to about 8 people, and every time I call the list of people waiting. Oh, and when I go down to call, I go through. I mean, there's probably 1 or 2 on that list. It's not like they're fighting for an open T hanger. Everybody wants an enclosed hanger that's, the number 1 priority at this point in time that I see. So, if I go down that list and we don't have anybody, we lose people potentially because of the raises. And the guys say, "Oh my gosh, the last time we did the raises it went up." Did we lose anybody for the raises? I don't know. But the potential is it becomes more work for me because people don't want to pay that raise and then so it's empty. So yeah,
I think one lapse is all it takes, 1 month, and we just evaporated a year's worth of potential revenue. I personally think it's worth the risk. I don't want to anger people. If they're going to call it here are highs, especially when you have these other airports that we had that were that information we had. I do think we do need to do something about the budget. I know we had talked before, I can't remember her name.
Chris Bitten.
Yes, give us the finance presentation, and we clearly need to do something. I think we talked about hiring another, what's the word? Another, consultant, thank you. Another consultant, but we did that last time and we didn't happen to it. So what we really need is something that we can present to the city council. We don't get that into a voice here. We need to coalesce around something that's actually meaningful, with a true dent in the budget, and mostly think about securing the airport for the future. The biggest risk that I got out of that was the mayor making comments, things like that, about the airport getting shut down, or how it can be used for other things. And with that in mind, I think we want to present something that's going to make the airport look at least somewhat financially viable for the long term. And this, no matter how much we raise these rates, if we're just not even close.
No, do you need some sort of draw?
Let's reduce all the rates. Is that the other side of it? Let's not charge them anything because they're they bring business to the community.
Well, that's what I do. I provide,
Absolutely.
bathrooms, I don't get it. Yeah, that's what I do just for the service. It's not a good model. I'll tell you that, Chuck. But that's what I think. But that's not how I need to make money with other stuff like it. And so if you wanted to do the flight training and do all this,
But let's bring it back to the motion at hand, which is to raise the rates. And we've now, you said you were counter arguing, but it seems like you're actually arguing in favor of the rates.
At the 10th day, not an increase. Then we don't change that.
Okay, so your counter argument is you don't see there's a room for change.
Correct.
Chuck is saying $20 increase on the T hangers alone. Is there any other conversation or discussion about the motion?
I was going to say, I think, and I kind of was going here, just that we should, if we're going to make a proposal about balancing the budget, let's use our one voice wisely and make sure we get the city council with something that's going to be truly meaningful. We don't want to hit them up with lots of little things, and I feel like this is
One of the small things.
There's one other point.
If I want to address Nathan's statement. Once we clear this motion off the agenda, as it were, I have some items that I want to talk about addressing what you're recommending.
great.
So, is there any further discussion on the motion to raise the rates at the airport?
By voting are not going to raise the rates.
Correct.
are recommending that Rob take it to council and say the airport commission is proposing rate increase to remain in the ballpark, other facilities throughout the state.
The question is, do you think that there's a possibility of folks getting pissed off and just going someplace else, so we can lose that rent?
It's always there, but
And because that's what I have to ask, and that's what you said about if we lose 2 people, then that rent's gone, and if we cannot fill them, then what use is that rental rate? It's just shot.
If I understand it properly, and about 9 months ago, I made some calls to other airports around, and no one had a vacancy. There were no rentals available.
Right, but a lot of them have 5,000 foot runways, 6,000 foot runways, where we have a 3,000 foot, which is, there's a
That's
big difference there for planning into the aircraft.
Once again, is there any further discussion on the motion to raise hangar rates? Hearing none, I will tell you, I will not vote unless it's to break a tie. Since there's basically 3 people voting, that probably won't happen. Don't know. But just in case. So all those in favor of raising the rate to $20 per the motion that Chuck made, raise your right hand. All those opposed? Fails. No recommendation is going to council at this time. Okay.
been cheering.
I'm not cheering. I think you're on the right track, but.
I think so too. I mean, it's
He's talking big, grandiose, and you're right, as a team, go to the council with one voice as a team.
yeah,
Okay.
No hard feeling.
Nathan,
great point. So I mean, we need to do something.
Nathan, do you have anything else?
No, that was for me.
Okay, Chuck, your turn. You won the problem.
Oh, yeah.
So it's your phone.
Well, at the airport, just east of Dan's building and very near your building, there's a big, like 4-foot drain, cement drain with a steel grate.
Mm-hmm.
One corner of it is up 3 or 4 inches and you can see rubber on it. I don't know how you can fix it, but
Pretty expensive.
Yeah, probably gonna have to.
you could just put on some asphalt, cold patch on that side and it would give,
I don't know if
I
you're.
mean, if you raise that much, it wouldn't be bad.
It's on my radar. I look at it every time I drive it. Figure something.
Which one's this?
Right by the maintenance shop there with Dan, if you pull into the gate, Dan Miltenberger's off to the left. You go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go around the corner by the building maintenance right there, it's right there.
Yeah, okay.
Right on the taxiway, but close to the.
Open water pumps, taxi over. Okay.
I think it's far to go for there.
Unfortunately, I missed a couple meetings, but I just found a complete weather station on the west side of our airport.
Yeah.
Trailer,
They've been there, I think I brought it up about a year ago, and they finally showed up. You know how government works, right? Well, they're doing testing, and it's nothing with the land or anything like that with the airport or anything. Their main concern is the corridor of I-5 right there. And I think a lot of the mills, I don't know if they're looking at just the air quality through that corridor.
I see.
Stink that's in the air.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, there is some stink in the air, I have to admit, boy. Hey.
It was 20 years ago.
Oh, that is true.
Historic hangar.
Mhm.
I don't know anything that's going on I thought she was gonna.
Maybe it was be here, she said she couldn't make it.
She's cleaning, steam cleaning, pressure washing the floors.
Yeah. She called me this week, that was okay, I said, do it. They signed the lease, so,
Is it $1 a year? or-
yes, it is.
Okay.
So we're excited about that. I think they're gonna do some good things out there, bring, this economic development to the airport potentially. So,
Anything else, Chuck? Okay, since you brought up the hangar and questions about what can we do to make things better, I was approached by I'll use the term, resident of the airport, concerned about that very issue. That we need to attract not only pilots, aviation, we need to attract the community to the airport. And they understand that the 1929 hangar has the potential to do that. Especially if we can get the schools to come and we get into that wonderful thing called STEM. And if you don't know what STEM is, I think it's science, technology, and
Engineering.
and math and all of that happiness. And that's a great thing. And if that happens, that's great. But the other item is the individual was willing to host an internet site for the airport of Albany and asked pilots to participate in talking about their experience at Albany Airport and just anything and everything that could possibly get Albany Airport out there in the world. And we had talked about the 1829 hangar being possibly the
1929.
or nine, I'm sorry. The 1929 hangar being used possibly for a monthly breakfast type thing. That issue was brought up. So the airport residents are becoming concerned that, we need to do something to get people to come to that airport. The breakfasts or the burger flops that we had prior to COVID and the Young Eagles, et cetera, et cetera. What can we do? Any ideas to get that back to bring people to the airport? Now,
You don't really draw pets in with them because everybody loves pets, a pet flying or something. I don't know. Just
well, that you bring that up, there is an organization of pilots that actually fly rescue animals to and from.
absolutely.
So my airplane isn't going to carry a dog or a cat or something, but there are planes that can do that. But if we had pilots that were willing to jump into that, that would be a good thing too. I don't know if there's, well, like, there is a pounder up here, isn't there?
Basically, yeah. Same Madison.
Oh, well, is it Safe Haven the community or is that a private organization?
There's also Lane County.
Okay. Well, that might be worth investigating. And the other-
It's just an idea. It's just.
Yeah, exactly. It's ideas. But that's what we need, is we need ideas that spark a fire and say, hey, this will work. My personal thing would be to get either the burger floppings or the breakfast type thing kicked back up, because on a monthly basis, pilots go to those things. Now, my second item is kind of been brainstorming on, and I know the FAA and the ODOT and a bunch of other people are going to blow holes in this. But we really need to get that runway extended to get the business aircraft coming in here. they had the business jet sitting there it was about a week. It was sitting there, didn't buy a drop of gas from you, did he? Because he couldn't get off the runway. He did. But if we had a longer runway, we could sell the guy gas or Jet A.
That's a huge task to ask.
I understand that.
It's like a piece of beef.
And this is, you're the transportation guy. It was explained that because the aviation way comes around the north end of the runway and then connects up to Knox View, that little chunk that comes around in front of the runway, the excuse is an 18-wheeler could be there and screw up.
That's why there's a construction light right there next to the fence.
Bear with me just a second. Instead of having that road come around and connect in, we block it off at the northernmost hangar and basically make that road disappear. And then come in from the south end. Basically, I guess you could say by eminent domain, come through the former Chinese restaurant, come in the south end and have the entrance gate and everything there. And we could block off the gate, we could gate off the hangars, but have an access road come up along, in essence, just come into that road that goes along the hangars there on the south side.
There's a lot of holes you can shoot through that.
Well, I understand that. I understand that, but
Well, the bridge mainly, those are railroad cars, flatbed, railroad cars, 3 of them there, wood and asphalt over the top of, and it's probably something you don't want a lot of traffic going forward. Just, that, and Ron Irish told me that to be able to do, extended threshold, probably have to buy their property across Knox View to Tom's Garden, or not Tom's Garden, but the nursery. The nursery there. So that would have to probably happen.
I always ask Elon Musk if he'll give us his personal drilling equipment to drill on the ground.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll volunteer it,
South and the higher transmission power lines right there. Change that approach and that's control line. So.
And that, as I understood it, was to be remedied when they redid the overpass and put those underground, and that's basically not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Is there any plan at all? Like, is there any plan? Anything else?
But nothing more. Right now, I just went to a meeting on Tuesday and they're saying they're so underfunded that your services are gonna change. Bottle batching and all that, so we won't have the money.
We ever thought about trying to draw on like a heliport, some sort of helicopter company? I know there's some up in Salem, right? I don't know.
There's light.
I'm saying, like a training company or something. I don't know if there's any.
The nearest one is in Big.
It is, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Just don't have a lot of room to work.
Well, it's
There's a long list of from the FAA of why we can't have a displaced threshold. If we did, we'd have to pay for it ourselves, and we don't have the money to do that. Obviously, we're hurting. You're talking hundreds of $1,000s just to bring that up to the grade, and there's just a lot of things that just say not happening.
Probably kind of teenager at that point.
Well,
Is it like 10 feet too close?
yep, you'd have to put obstruction lighting on all of them, and you lose some of your tarmac and open tees.
Yeah, you draw like the center line, like
Just extend this out. Right, yeah.
just those teenagers.
so they wouldn't be doing an ILS type approach. It would be an RNet. ILS is basically archaic, and they're not going to put a new ILS in there. It'd be an RNet approach, which requires no transmitting devices on the ground.
But from what I remember, the obstruction light at the end, the one on the roadway, on Aviation Way, was because we did the survey for a GPS approach. That wasn't, I think maybe it was tied to lengthening of it, because I think we tried to do it at the same time. But that's because it wasn't a runway protection zone. That's why it got flagged and we had to put down obstruction light, but it was because we wanted a GPS approach.
Yeah.
And I would, I would like to have a GPS approach.
Yeah.
Because right now, we really can't do too much training, instrument training in the winter time. Because we could take off, but we might not be able to come back. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm trying to think of any possible way to come up with an expansion, an extension to, one, attract business aircraft in here. Business, now, I was told a few years ago that there's new car dealerships coming. Well, that's happening on the east end of Costco. And there's supposed to be a wafer factory coming in, and wherever that's going to be, et cetera. And my comment was, we need the airport because those business people want to fly in, get to their business, and then fly out. They don't want to have to drive 30 minutes or more after they land in an airplane. So the airport is a business attractant. We just need we need to come up with some way.
That's what we've been fighting, it seems like, for the last 20 years.
Yeah. And it seems like, I'll just use the term, the powers that be keep slamming the door. And it's almost like we don't want to think outside the box. We're just going to say no.
Change is hard for everything.
It's the FAA and money. Those are two defining factors. Yeah. And it's just like, if you've ever dealt with the federal government, pay your taxes every year, it's like they come up with something new every year.
I was in the Marine Corps for 20 years. Come on.
So, you want dealing with these people.
You want to see something tied to tradition.
John gave me the list to go trim these trees and take care of this and put obstruction lights up. And here we did all of this and got there. And I'm telling you, I've never been so frustrated, more frustrated in my life dealing with Western Flight Services, FAA portion of it, because they're calling Oklahoma and telling me that, oh, wait, you needed to cut one more tree back here. I said, you know what? We saw that tree right next to this one and we cut it out when we were there. So we don't have to remove that anymore. Expecting them to say that. So we're one step ahead of them and it's already gone. But it's very frustrating. And they've had a lot of turnover, newer people in there, and you just don't know what you're going to get. It's the person you talk to has a different mind frame, and it is frustrating.
Well, bring me up to speed on why, maybe Tom, but why do they mandate that displaced threshold? Is that to prevent a pilot from hitting that ditch, the canal?
I think they just need more runway. It's the length is what they need for taking off.
Well, but if on the south end.
So why they, you rejected?
Yeah, you've got the displaced area here. Why can't we use all of that runway instead of having to go up to the number?
Because right now it's an overrun, and then to change it to displaced threshold, from what some of the consultants are telling me, they stopped doing that. Is that you?
Yeah. Susan said that's what the FAA told you.
And then so it's gonna involve lengthening the taxiway and putting a connector at the end, unless you want them to back, which we really don't want anyway. So for that, involve them, it's cost money. I think their thing was to justify the expense. We need to provide like 100 names of pilots that were land in Albany.
Have you requested? You actually have a list of pilots or companies that have requested landing permission, the ability to land.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you have any of that, how are we gonna get all this?
That's how foolish and how frustrated we all were. It was just, it was like a joke. It was, you go this way and they block you. So you go this way and they go block you. The answer is no. What was the question?
What is, yeah, the problem besides the power line, really, I can see that being a problem, but.
And the approach height, I think, is.
Yeah, it's a 20.5 degree approach.
Right, I'm seeing it that way, if that was in super then.
And there's a road and to the north and Knox Butte and.
So, well, the north coast is the same, right? We're talking about just in the south.
The south.
The south.
But the south is 5 degrees.
Yeah, you have to don't people.
And what the FAA is going to say they want is a 3.5 degree approach. Well, the only way you can get a 3.5 degree is whenever they do the overpass on I-5, they're going to have to drop that chunk by the airport down considerably and take those power lines and the trees and basically put them underground in order to get a 3.5 degree. And then they will probably come up with a bullshit excuse that because Home Depot is there. Oh, well,
construction lights on all their parking.
Yeah,
lots.
I give you credit. Good on you for trying to resurrect that. I was a big believer, and I've been beaten down so many times. And I'm with you now. I wish that's the only solution to increased finances, as I see it. The only substantial.
right.
I mean, you guys brought up that my idea of raising the rate would raise it 200 a year or something. Well, a breakfast might generate 400 a year because you got the Elks, the Moose, the Kiwanis, the whoever has to make the bulk of the money, and they only contribute a little back to the airport, I should think.
Yeah, but this would be the airport community or the aviator community doing it at the airport, not the Kiwanis or the.
Oh, not like subcontracting. This is
Correct. So in essence, the money the profit after buying the burgers or whatever it is, making the pancakes, would basically be right back to the airport.
100%.
Yeah. So if it just flat out comes down to there is no way in hell you're going to extend that runway, and there's no way you're going to expand on anything.
Then it's time to shut down the airport.
That's what the mayor.
Say,
Yeah, that's what the mayor got the better of, because he said shut it down, but I think he was on the saying let's create a regional airport. That's what he.
Absolutely, that was the thought.
and then you just finding Salem, but that's.
Well, that's just it. That's what they've also told me that, you know, they won't allow the displaced threshold because you've got Salem, you've got Corvallis, and you've got Eugene around there too.
But that's not where our businesses are. So, and what it's going to come down to is strictly a GA airport. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the only thing we're left with right now is how in the places can we make this a more attractive airport to bring one more aircraft, i.e. more hangars, and bring more public to the airport to generate the interest in it.
What about doing like a warbird flying? I know the runway isn't long, but you have a lot of the lower planes that are just fine.
Yeah,
And I don't know, I know the northern redwood is the warbird one down in Northern California. And I used to use one in Madera, California. We have a bunch of warbirds down there, all those planes. And I don't know, I know they're red. Yeah, that's, I mean, there's a whole bunch, so I don't know if that's, I mean, I know that you would draw people. There's just, we just have to draw the public so we can make money on public. I mean, if we agree with that, what is the amount?
Exactly.
Or
Or,
something big,
Tony opens up a freaking wing brewery. Yeah.
with a casino in the back.
There you go.
I can help you with the casino, man, I was in.
No, but maybe like, I was thinking, like independence, there's really nothing there, but it's very popular because why? Why not?
They got the cafe.
Why they? There you go.
And we fly in the $200 burger.
I mean, that's why it's always 50, right?
But you got those food carts right across that five right there. Get a van, start taking people over there.
no, they want to get on the airplane, go to the cafe, do their thing, shoot the breeze for an hour or two, get back in the airplane and fly.
So in Missouri, where I was for a long time, there's a place called, Home of the Throw Rolls, I forget what it was called, down in Sykeston. The guy was a pilot who started it in the 30s, ended up doing shuttles from the airport for all the pilots. So all the pilots knew they would call the shuttle would. So you had a whole bunch of people who would go to that airport, small little tiny 3,500 foot, but they would get the shuttles go for a few hours and then go back and fly off.
Yeah.
So everything would like fuel at at the airport.
Sun River, that's what happens too, is if you fly into Sun River, the only way you're getting anywhere is by a shuttle.
Right.
And I've flown into Sun River, called the shuttle, they took us to whatever restaurant we needed to go to. They said, well, just give us a call when you're ready. They came, picked us up, and took us back to the airport. That's what we thought.
5 years ago or 6 years ago, you had a station wagon or
Yeah.
you had a vehicle out there.
Really, 30 people?
And
Yeah, well.
Well,
No, people are not doing that.
Yeah, I honestly, I look at, okay, where are the airports with cafes on them?
Yeah.
So I can go somewhere for
So
somebody.
what if there's a service like, you got a river run through your town, somebody has this, hire a college kid, drive a van, take them up, float the river and come back, take them to Loafers. Say, come to Albany, we'll take you to Loafers and you can eat breakfast there. Come pick you up when you're done. I don't know.
Thinking out,
it's the idea, yeah, it's just, I mean, instead of going to draw a restaurant to the airport, it's feasible. Or
where would the ingress egress for Raptors or whatever be?
Highland Park's got a nice ramp, which is just 2 miles.
Yeah.
On the west end, over here in the.
Over there, right in there somewhere.
Yeah, right where you're at.
Somebody shot it. Yeah, it's cast.
There you could have phone farther.
From here.
Well, does the Talking Waters, whatever the name of the water works outside of the, does that come up against the river?
Yeah, somewhat.
Would there be an ingress on that? Is there a flat?
You wouldn't put them in that water.
The Talking Water to the river.
Well, I think it goes from one to the other to the river. I don't think there's any place that you, well, you might be in the park down there. It is the Willamette River though.
Yeah. Don't eat the fish.
Yeah,
Sounds like in Mississippi.
okay.
I think the best way of getting people to fly in is food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We have the hotels. But without food, I mean, I do a lot of cross country and I don't go to any airport that doesn't have food because finding transportation to and from is such a pain. I didn't consider.
I think Rainbow House just sold, so I don't know, if that's,
Do you know, is it still gonna be a Chinese
I
restaurant?
have no idea. Just had to go down there and look at the fence because the fire marshal was wondering what, code was.
Well, I noticed that the homeless guy, that black, yeah, that was not a beer.
Yeah. So I think there's new signs up down there too. So. We'll see.
Out in Lincoln City, they have bicycles there.
Okay.
I wonder if they can ride there. I'm wondering, was some find that work here? Or like some airports, they have a car.
Lincoln City. Lincoln City doesn't have an airport.
Yeah, so that's,
That's not Lincoln City, that's down south.
Pacific City, I'm sorry.
Pacific City.
The really tiny one.
Yeah, the one that some people stay away from because it's so narrow.
Yeah. Pacific City, I'm sorry, they have bicycles there.
Yeah.
I just feel like that would, here in Albany, or a courtesy car, that would help. Bring it. There's not all blood.
Well, we need the ideas. I don't want to shoot anything down because the one that you think is the least likely would be the one that comes out of the woodwork and really makes it happen. So that's it from the commissioners. Is there any public online that has anything to say?
Nope, I don't think there's anybody else.
Hearing none, the next business meeting is Thursday, August 16th. And
Excuse me, it's the 15th. I made that correction in the new ones. Sorry about that.
okay, August 15th, Thursday, August 15th. And hearing nothing from the public and one more time around the table, hearing nothing, meeting adjourned.